Before we get into the video, if you're a Dying Light fan, I would advise you to stop the video and go back because I'll probably ruin any kind of hype you have. If you found the video and you're trying to consider if you should purchase the game or not, if you can live with the things I mentioned in the second half, then go for it. Apparently YouTube is full of positive reviews on every single game that's coming out, and I understand they're getting early access to things so they can say what's on their mind exactly. I'm almost sure like 80% of the famous people you watch for reviews have said things they don't mean just because they have to. At first, I thought I'm just being too harsh and picky, but after watching Jack Fragg's live stream on Dying Light 2 and watching the chat while he plays, I realized I'm just being honest and realistic. I don't mind being the punching bag, after all, someone has to take that role. And don't even get me started on the people that have already uploaded 5 videos like 10 must-know tips on how to survive, best weapons in the game, how to improve your survivability when they've spent 5 hours in the game. Dude, I don't wanna hurt anyone's feelings, but it's getting pathetic, give me a break. I would personally wait till the game is on sale and buy it for no more than 25 to 30 bucks. Now, we all have to keep in mind, Techland, the creators of Dying Light 2, is indeed a small company, so you can't expect miracles. I think they did a great job with that game, however, there are some things that could have been a little bit polished before release, but we're gonna talk about that later. I don't think these people said anywhere that's gonna be a next-gen game. People automatically assumed it's gonna be just because it's released in 2022, but as long as old gen consoles are being supported in these games, it's not happening. I did a little bit of research this afternoon while I was drinking my coffee, what games are coming out in 2022 and when they should be released. Turns out Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is the closest true next-gen game coming out so far, which is going to be the first game released running on Unreal Engine 5. This is when you should expect miracles to happen and you should finally see why you spend thousands on gaming hardware. I think Techland made Dying Light 2 with the idea to be some sort of a sequel. There are some changes but not like a whole new game where everything is going to be different. People love Dying Light 1 and they released a second one with some improved graphics, bigger map, some more parkour animations and so on. They promised 5 years of updates, so you can see for such a small company, these people actually care what's gonna happen with their game. Now, let me tell you what I've noticed after I watched a lot of reviews and gameplays before I saw Jack Frags was streaming Dying Light 2 and I went there to observe for one last time, where I managed to gather the best information because he's not biased or anything. The game is mediocre, it's okay, it's not a wreck like Battlefield 2042. I heard from many places there's gonna be a day 1 patch that's gonna fix a lot of the glitches, but I'm not gonna mention any of them, so it's fine. Okay, so I'll just say everything wrong from what I saw, and before you say play it, before you talk negative shit about it, let me tell you something from my experience. By watching someone play a game, you can learn a lot more than you think. While you're playing the game, you can't see everything because you're focusing on the game itself, not what's happening around. Unless you're recording yourself and you watch it afterwards, that's the only way to really get the best experience. Weapons feel like they have no real impact on the enemies, like you're not hitting anyone. Water looks funny when you're swimming and the bubbles coming out are way too unrealistic. Graphics are poor sometimes at certain areas, and at these certain areas the textures on stuff look like they were imported from a 2014 game. One of the most annoying things is the motionless running with his arms swinging way too much. You could have had some movement in the camera while running or something, and when he's running it feels like he's fast walking, like, I don't know dude, it looks weird. Parkouring around is so weightless, like you're in the space and somehow he accelerates right when he's about to dropkick someone and it lacks some animations. And honestly half of the game has unpolished animations. The fact enemy weapons disappear when you kill them doesn't make any sense to me. Why wouldn't you let them be obtainable? For some reason, at certain places, the game looks exactly like Far Cry, but with parkour and zombies. The first game wasn't like that, and the voice acting is really amateur. The story is kinda whack, and it makes no sense sometimes. I'll give you an example. At the falling elevator scene, how the zombies didn't hear a thing when everything was dead silent. Shortly after that, you're being stealthy and sneaky, and he gets a turbo-graphic Xbox 360 looking flashback, and suddenly he decides to kick the door as hard as he can, and no one heard anything, while 50 seconds before that, zombies almost broke in the room you're in because they heard a noise. Like, dude, really? And honestly, don't get me wrong, but if the story was bad in the first game and it's still bad in the second, I'm genuinely asking, what do you do in this game to keep you playing? How long are you gonna jump between buildings drop kicking zombies before you get tired of that? I guess it's a good way to clear your head with some of your friends in co-op mode for an hour or two. And from what I saw, there's not a lot of zombies. Most of the times you're just running and jumping around. When you're fighting enemies, but I'm talking about humans, not zombies, the whole combat system is a little goofy. You wait for them to attack, you have to block it, then you hit him twice in that window while he's sort of stunned or something, then you have to wait for him to attack again so you can parry and hit him twice again. Like, the combat system needs improving, bro, it's so outdated, and the looting animations look funny. When you jump on the ground, there's no impact or shake, like you have no weight, and some of the jumps you're doing are so unrealistic, like they're literally impossible. And the animations start to look weird, like you're in the space doing these jumps with no gravity. Why their facial animations are so motionless, like they're from 2010 game and they desync a little bit sometimes. And why on earth sometimes your hands are on the screen and sometimes they're not, like they come right over your ass? Dude, come on, what year is it? In daylight, graphics look pretty good, but at night or in dark places, geez, it looks like crap. I felt like the zombies have low textures and they were imported from another game, and in general I saw there's like a disbalance between the textures in the game. For example, the weapons you're holding look great, they're super detailed, and then you see a stationary radio on the table that looks like a complete ass with textures from 1995. I wasn't the only one who noticed the whole game feels like it's in slow motion. You can't feel the adrenaline or some sort of a fast pace, given the fact we're in a zombie apocalypse running on rooftops. Your character drains his stamina so fast sometimes over nothing, things you won't break a sweat doing. The music isn't matching the scenes at all sometimes, and honestly, I felt like the more I watched, the worse it gets, so I decided to close it and do something else instead. Wherever I go, the comments are pretty much 50-50 about the game, I'm somewhere in the middle. I would buy it after at least half an year when it gets some fixes and it's on sale. I'm curious what's your opinion on the game and how do you feel about it.